Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're going to trace the journey of William Henry Gates III. I mean, everyone knows the name, right? But maybe not the whole story. It feels like there's so much more beyond just, the headlines.
Absolutely. And what's really compelling, I think, is looking at the sources, we can sort of distill these key insights, maybe some surprising facts too,
Yeah.
exploring that arc he took, from this tech pioneer to, well, a global philanthropist figure. The idea is to help you grasp the real scope of his impact. It's much bigger than just Microsoft.
Okay, so let's maybe rewind then. Back to the beginning. He was born October 28, 1955, Seattle, Washington.
Mm-hmm.
And here's something that always gets me. He wrote his first software program when he was just 13.
It's pretty remarkable, isn't it? That kind of early knack. It clearly set the stage for, well, a really pivotal decision later on.
You mean Harvard?
Yeah, famously topping out of Harvard. He left to co-found Microsoft with his childhood friend, Paul Allen, back in 1975.
Right, Paul Allen.
And they started small, really humble beginnings. They were developing a version of BASIC for the Altair 8800.
The Altair. Yeah. Wasn't that like a kit computer?
Exactly. A hobbyist machine. Lots of people thought it had, zero commercial future. But their bet, putting a programming language on that machine, that was a key strategic move early on. Showed real foresight.
And from that, well, you said it, Microsoft just seemed to explode. It wasn't just slow growth, was it?
No, exploded is definitely the right word.
So under Gates, what were the real game-changing moments that, fueled that?
Well, two things really stand out, I think. First, that 1980 partnership with IBM.
Yes, MS-DOS.
Exactly, to supply the operating system that became MS-DOS. That basically put Microsoft software onto almost every IBM PC. Huge deal.
Okay, so that's one.
But the real revolution arguably came in 1985, the launch of Windows.
Windows, right, the graphical interface.
Yes, the GUI. Suddenly users could click icons, not type these sort of cryptic commands. It made computers so much more intuitive, more accessible for, well, everyone.
It kind of democratized computing.
Absolutely. It shifted PCs from being niche tools for techies to, potentially being in every household. That's the lasting impact. And under his guidance, Microsoft just rocketed to become the world's biggest PC software company.
His leadership really did reshape things.
Yeah.
And speaking of reshaping, his own role changed quite a bit over time, too.
Precisely. He was CEO until 2000. Then he transitioned. Right. Became chairman and chief software architect.
So still involved, but different.
Right. It wasn't just stepping aside. It showed this unique ability to adapt his leadership as the company got massive. Proving founders can sometimes serve best by letting go of direct control, empowering others while still guiding the tech vision.
And all this success obviously led to just staggering wealth.
Oh, yeah.
He was the world's richest person, from 1995 to 2017. With some breaks, I think.
That's right. And his net worth at one point went over $100 billion, which is just hard to even comprehend.
Even now, 2025, he's still right up there, top 10 globally.
But this incredible wealth enables something else, right? A really profound pivot towards philanthropy. That's where the story takes another big turn.
The foundation.
The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, yeah. Founded in 2000 with his then wife. And it grew incredibly fast into one of the largest private charitable foundations anywhere.
And he really leaned into it, didn't he? Stepping down from Microsoft's board.
Yeah, that was in 2020. Specifically to focus more on the philanthropy, it really speaks to maybe a redefinition of success for him, shifting from building an empire to tackling these huge global problems.
That's quite the transition. And the foundation's work, it's massive in scope, isn't it? What are the main areas they focus on?
They really go after some of the world's toughest problems. Global health is a huge one. Big initiatives trying to eradicate polio, fight malaria, things like that.
Okay.
But also education, trying to alleviate poverty, and expanding access to technology, especially in places that don't have it.
It's interesting. You almost see the same kind of intensity he brought to Microsoft.
You do. That strategic thinking, that focus. There's that famous story, right, about him memorizing employee license plates back in the day.
To track their hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that. That's intense.
Intense is one word for it. It shows that singular focus, almost obsessive attention to detail, probably key to Microsoft's early success, but also maybe hints at the drive he brings to these global challenges now.
And he's still thinking, still writing too,
yeah.
Those books.
The Road Ahead, Business at the Speed of Thought, and more recently, How to Avoid a Climate Disaster. They sort of reflect his evolving interests and concerns,
So looking at the whole picture then, this incredible path from teenage coder to tech titan and then this pivot to global humanitarian. What's the big takeaway?
Well, maybe it's less a takeaway and more a question, really, for you listening.
Okay.
When you see how one person shifted from like dominating an entire industry to pouring that energy into these massive global issues. What does Bill Gates' evolution make you think about? About the potential for personal